All right, welcome to lab number 2 of AZ-801, implementing security solutions in hybrid scenarios. We're currently here logged into our Azure account, and what we want to do first is create a log analytics workspace. I guess the easiest way to do that is just to search for log analytics workspaces, and then click on create. We get the wizard. We want to check if we have a resource group here. Yes, we do. So we're actually supposed to use a different one. So let's create that. AZ-801 RG. Otherwise, I call this workspace with our project number, and East US is an okay region for us. So let's just create this. Okay, here we go. Now it's done. Next up, we could configure Microsoft Defender for cloud. So let's go and look for it. Defender for cloud. So you might need to go into upgrade here on the overview page. Our environment here in the test in the lab provider has already the enhanced security set up, so we don't need to upgrade. But if you're doing this in your own account, you might need to do that. Let's go over to environment settings. It's down here. And if we go down here, we can see all of our resources or subscriptions, basically. So here you can see the subscription that we're using currently. And then here we can see which plans are available. So we can just enable all plans here. We're happy with Defender for APIs plan 1. Right, so we can see all of the plans over here. Now for cost purposes, we actually only need the servers plan. So we can set everything else as being off. So servers on, it's off, 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 off. Oh, I missed one. Yeah. Off, off, off. Right, let's save this. If you go over to settings and monitoring, one of the things we might set on is a guest configuration agent. Right, so you can see that it's going to be looking inside the machines for misconfigurations. Let's turn that one on. Then vulnerability assessment for machines. I want that to be on as well. You can see that it's automatically selected the Defender vulnerability management. for vulnerability assessment. I think that's it. And save. Now let's go back to Defender of Cloud. And then let's take a look at the workspace that we have here. And here let's set on the servers plan. So now here under data collection, we can select that we want to actually have all events. Let's create a Cloud Shell session. Okay, in the instructions, it's telling us to create the L0202 resource group, but our lab provider has that already created. So we actually don't need to do that. Then let's deploy a custom template to get some infrastructure running. And we have in the lab files, in the Git repository, we have a template. In the lab environment, it's going to be under all files, lab files, lab 2, and this one. So we just uploaded that. Gonna save it. And then we're going to deploy it. So we're going to put it into the second resource group down here. East-US is going to be good for us. We're going to use an admin, my admin. We're going to use a password. And then otherwise, we're going to be happy with the standard settings. All right, that has been now deployed. So it's a virtual machine together with required network stuff. Next up, let's onboard our on-prem server into Defender for Cloud, and as well as Azure Update Manager. So we do that using Azure Arc. So the easiest way to find, or at least in my opinion, the easiest way to find the agent for server is to go to the Azure Arc page here in the Azure portal. And then if we go through to machines, okay, this has changed since the instructions have been made. I think we can get the same thing if we go through onboard existing machines. Then we need to find the resource group, L0201. We want this to be in East-US. We don't have SQL Server on there, so let's maybe take that away. Public endpoint should be okay. And authenticate should be okay. We don't have any tags. And then let's download the generated script. Okay, then let's go with PowerShell. And then let's first go into the downloads directory. And then we need to set the execution policy because this was downloaded from the internet. And now we can run the onboarding script. So we have to log in to Azure for authentication purposes. And now we're done. So now if you go back to Azure Arc, under machines and we refresh, we see that our server 2 has been connected to Azure Arc. So one of the things we might be interested in is tracking the inventory of our machine. So if we take a look at it, and then here under operations, we have inventory. And currently we're not tracking that, so we need to enable that. Okay, that failed. Let's refresh and see what happened. Yeah, we have it working. The failure was not a real one. Okay, so next let's enable monitoring. So we can go to settings and then extensions. You can see that we have change tracking here. And then we have monitor Windows agent in here. Under monitoring, we can select insights. So let's configure that. Let's use the log-based metrics over here and enable that. Right now it seems to be working. Next up, let's enable Windows Update. This is disabled by default. So let's go to services. We got Windows Update here, and you can see it's currently disabled. So let's change that to start automatically. And then let's start the service. Now, in Azure, we have an update manager. And here, if we go under resources and machines, we should see our SEASVR2 over here, as well as the virtual machine that we created earlier. So it currently doesn't know anything, so we can enable periodic assessments. So now should be able to check for updates. Right, here we can see the updates that are currently recommended for our server. All right, so one other thing we could do is under insights, we should now have some data. As we do. So I got CPU data, disk data available memory, IOPS, so on. Yeah, this is no longer available with the current setup that we have. Another thing we could take a look at is now the inventory should be done. So we got different kinds of software that is in here, and then we can change tracking on. So we can see what the history of each of these items would be. But yeah, that's it for our lab this time. If you're doing this in your own environment, then please do remember to delete the 2 resource groups that we created to make sure that you don't get charged for anything off the woods. Thanks for listening, and see you in your next lab. Till then.